Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be discussing the keys to successful project management.
A new project is in the works. The group sets up a shared space with lots of documents arranged in with no discernible method. And whoever's in charge says, "Go ahead and organize things however you like." And then they're surprised when it doesn't work.
So, what are the keys to successful project management? What's the story?
To successfully manage a project, the first thing you need is a project. First things first. But let's be more specific. You need a meaningful project that is in line with the company's strategy and mission as well as the team's.
This project has a purpose which can be summed up in goals to reach, a long-term goal which you break down into intermediary goals, and milestones which must be reached.
And all of that has a temporal dimension. You start by outlining what comes first. The prerequisites, the things that take the most time, which things will have to hold off a while, etc. This step creates a big picture and puts things in the right order.
This roadmap is the first key to successful project management.
Next, you have to decide who will do what. That's the second key. Roles and responsibilities.
While the sponsor is a bit like a customer who defines expectations and validates the final result, the project manager will coordinate the efforts necessary to get there. As for contributors, well, they contribute. They produce or create, execute and deliver.
These roles are recorded in a RACI, or Responsibility Assignment Matrix, without going into too much detail. Let's not forget that a role is not a person, and that a person can have several roles.
I could be project manager for the project as a whole, but a contributor for a certain portion. It requires people to manage different hats, but it's possible.
Once the roadmap and RACI are ready, you can get to work on the project. But be careful not to move forward with blinders on. You'll have to monitor progress regularly to ensure everyone is moving in the right direction and has the means to make progress.
That's our third key to successful project management: monitor progress.
Which simply means you need to regularly ensure that things are moving forward at a suitable pace. Are you running late? Do you have everything you need? What's holding things up? And so on.
In practice, the project manager monitors operational progress on a daily basis and reports back to the project director with any difficulties.
A lot of this often happens via project management software like Monday, Teams, Trello, or a simple Excel spreadsheet. The idea is that you can understand what needs to be done, who's responsible for it, and when it's due in a single glance.
So, you have to update them. And that's why we set up a project committee. That's the fourth key.
A project committee with regular meetings is an opportunity to bring together all contributors to discuss their progress, examine any holdups, and explain works in progress.
And a steering committee is useful for handling holdups and making decisions that guide contributors' efforts.
Project committees often meet weekly, while steering committees generally meet monthly. But there are no hard rules. The frequency of meetings imposes a cadence, which should be tailored to your goals. The famous roadmap.
These governing bodies should be thought of as regular opportunities to share, but it's best to enforce a certain degree of organizational rigor, an agenda, a precise progress chart, and minutes.
In addition to this formal structure, the information needs to be stored. That's the fifth and final key to successful project management. Reference documents.
The goal is simple. You want to make sure everyone has access to the same information, which is always as up to date as possible. It keeps you from going spelunking through your emails.
And reference documents also require rigorous organization.
In other words, a clear and shared classification system, archives for older documents, a date on every document, and a version number.
These 5 keys will help you to stay on target with your project.
To recap, the 5 keys to managing your project are: 1. A roadmap, 2. Roles and responsibilities, 3. Progress monitoring, 4. Governing bodies, and 5. Reference documents. There's no magic potion, but rigor often results in efficiency. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short. Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.